First of all, thanks for being here. What a great crowd, great turnout. We appreciate your support of this event. And thanks to Rob for being here too, driving down from Cedar Rapids. And as he was up speaking, it dawned on me that our conversation today might be longer than most of them we have. Usually it's about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I catch Rob coming on and off the field, usually coming on for the second half. So our conversation is a little quicker. It's nice to talk about kids and family, those types of things. But along those lines, I just want to say that it's really been a pleasure to work with Rob through the years. He's been with the Hawkeye Radio Network for 17, and I've been affiliated now for 11 going on 12. So it's been great to work with all of them. They do a great job, and Rob has certainly been an integral part of that team. And I think we all know the work that his dad's done. He's following his footsteps in great, great fashion. So Rob, appreciate that, and thanks for being here this morning. Thank you. And Father had mentioned, I told him a year and a half ago, I suggested he quit while he's ahead. And he just said this morning, how come I haven't done that? Well, I never did get ahead. I was 1 in 10, Father. I think we were 2-18 going into the win that Rob alluded to in 2000 up in Happy Valley. So I never had that luxury. I do have a question for you, though. Is Stancy Catholic?
One of these.
House calls, I trust, right? You do it, Mom? Okay, good. Those are questions I don't ask. We do have chapel for our players available during our pregame ritual, and it is non-denominational and strictly optional. We're a public university, so just want to go on record saying it's strictly optional. Those are not questions I ask players, what denomination they may be. So anyway, if you want to talk with me later, Father, we'll talk about that. As always, thanks to the I Club, band, Spirit Squad, everybody that makes this such a great event. We appreciate all of your efforts. And Bob introduced the people from the Orange Bowl, the committee. The guys came up yesterday and were out of practice. And we've never had a bad bowl experience. I think Bill Brazier said it best back in the 80s. I remember Bill saying there is no such thing as a bad bowl game. Some are better than others. And we've had excellent treatment everywhere we've gone. I can assure you that. But I'll tell you, the treatment we received last year was just by far above and beyond. And we so much appreciate all that you guys did, and everybody involved here. Larry's paying taxes in Iowa. He's got a lot of time here. Sean, Tim, Lou, Louis, Jeff, all these guys have just, they went above and beyond last year. Not only with the players and the staffs, but all the people that travel. And I think that's one thing people don't realize in bowl games. Typically it's over the holidays, although last year with the game being on the 5th, we were able to be home for Christmas. We went out the day after, I guess. But you're talking about not only the players and coaches again, but a lot of support people with families, children. You're away from the holidays, you're away from your home, and you're living in a hotel for a period of 7, 8, 9 days. And it is great on one front, but you're not home. So some of the things that go on behind the scenes to make everybody in the party feel at home. It all gets back to the people involved with the bowl, and we've never been treated like that. So we're so appreciative. We appreciate you guys being here. Certainly, last week's game, as Bob mentioned, we were pleased with the outcome. It was great to go out and get back, winning mode, if you will. The crowd was outstanding. I really didn't realize until I saw the films the next day how hard it rained. So I appreciate that much more people being there. Sometimes you're not aware of that out on the field. And I think a couple of highlights Bob touched on. Our special teams played better. We are a work in progress there. There's no question about that. We've got a lot of young players still learning right now, and we continue to invest a lot of time there. That's going to be very important tomorrow and the rest of the season. And we did get a look at some younger players that we haven't seen much of. Guys like Brad Rogers, certainly like Marcus Coker, and it's good to get them out there and get them game action. And we're trying to move them as fast as we possibly can, but you can only do so much in a week's time. So that was a good thing, certainly. And the other player that was mentioned earlier, Mike Daniels, I just want to say a couple words about him again. And we've been talking about him since last spring. And some players come in and just hit stride right away, but Mike's a guy that's really worked extremely hard. Was not a big recruit. He's from the Philadelphia area, just across the river, and I think we beat Villanova to get Mike. But ever since he's been on campus, he's worked extremely hard. The player you saw on the field last week, in the last couple of weeks actually, is is a player that we saw emerging last spring, and that's one of the neat things I think about college football and college sports in general. So Mike's a tremendous young guy, good, hard-working guy, great attitude, and we're so thrilled he's on our football team. And selfishly, I'm hoping you see a lot of great things from him in the weeks ahead. Also, as Rob mentioned, we're moving into Big Ten play, and all the games are significant. Certainly, we've had a lot of big games already, but it is another notch. And whether you're in a conference in college or if you coach in the National Football League when you get into divisional play, these games mean more. And we are playing for something right now. And then the other part of that, whatever's happened prior to this date really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you're ranked statistically, national rankings, and it really doesn't matter what your record is. Everybody right now in our conference is 0-0, and then we're moving forward tomorrow. So it's a real important game for a lot of reasons. And then you move forward. We have such a prestigious opponent coming in Penn State. One of the all-time, if not the all-time greatest college football coach on their sidelines. And by the way, you lived that 40-yard dash. I thought you were going to compare me with Coach Paterno. When I saw him on TV after that 2002 game when he chased down the referee, I had no choice there. So, but we've got a great opponent coming in. We're in Kinnick in a night game. We all know what that environment's like, and to be on national TV again, it's a great thrill for our players, and we're very excited about that. We've got the same four captains going in: Adrian Clayborn, Carl Klug on defense, Ricky Stanzi, and Julian Vandevelde on the offensive side. Last night of practice, Albert Young was there, and Tony Moyaki, who had the #1 play Sports Center play last week. And our honorary captain this week will be Chad Greenway. Chad's been down, I think, since Tuesday. So. Tell you too much about Chad as a player. I think we all know him that way, but he also bought a home here in North Liberty, I believe it is, and got a bunch of those guys. Ed Hinkle from Erie, Pennsylvania, Chad from South Dakota, Marcus Schnorr's there. A bunch of guys have settled out there. I know Dallas Clark has a place here, Nate Kading, for common sense reasons, but it's just really neat to see all those guys choose to live here in the out of season, spend time in Iowa, and I think that's speaks very highly of the community here in our state. So it's just great to have Chad with us. We're really excited about that. As I said, Penn State's coming into town, and it hit me on Tuesday at the press conference. Somebody said something about us being favored, which I really don't pay attention to those things. And Wednesday night after the radio show, I go home and I read the newspapers from the week, and another article made mention of that. I really kind of do find that hard to believe. Only in the sense that if you look back over the last 5 years now, Penn State's won 51 football games. The last 2 years, they've given up 12 points a game defensively, and they've got a running back on their team that's going to break every record in the books right now. And Penn State's had, I would imagine, at least 10 first-round draft picks that have played the running back position. So it just gives you an idea of the kind of football program they have. And when I was a young person growing up, I remember that 7-6 win very vividly. But when I was a young person growing up, watching that program, the constants were they didn't beat themselves. They always played great defense, and they always had a tremendous running game and good players around that. And I think things haven't changed an awful lot. The other thing, too, if you look at our series, in the games that we've won by an average of 6 points a game. In the games that they've won by an average of 22. So it just gives you a little bit of idea of the kind of talent that they have. They've got a lot of good players. And the bottom line is we need to be ready to go. We need to be ready to play our best football. To win the last 2 games, that's exactly what it's taken. It's taken the full 60, and in some games, 2 games with them taking more than that. So that's typically how it's going to be if we're going to have a chance to compete against Penn State. And I can just tell you, we've had a good week of practice. Our players are very excited, and I know theirs are too. So you move into conference play. It ought to be a great football game. I know it's going to be a great environment. We're thrilled to be back in Kinnick. And we'll look forward to seeing all of you tomorrow. Thank you very much.